Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Goodrich Chronicles. I am your host, Anthony Goodrich, and today we're going to talk about the death penalty and one individual in particular who was scheduled to be put to death yesterday. His name is Tremaine Wood out of Oklahoma. Him and his brother was in a robbery about 20 years ago. Ended up stabbing somebody to death. At least he was accused of stabbing somebody to death. And him and his brother ended up getting arrested. Both were charged with the murder. However, one was sent to death row and the other one was not. Tremaine was the one sent to death row. He was supposed to have been killed yesterday. Now, I don't know how this happened, but supposedly there was a document submitted to the governor that wasn't real, and he honored it and gave him a commuted sentence, which means he will be doing life without parole. So check out these clips that I have, and it's going to show you the document that was fake, but the governor apparently honored it anyway. And so now he gets to spend the rest of his life in prison without the threat of being put to death by the state. Okay, now his brother, on the other hand, committed suicide back in 2019. So that is a twist and look. And also his brother admitted that he's the one that did the killing, actually stabbed him. So Tremaine had a gun, his brother had a knife, and he's telling the authorities that he killed that man during that robbery, but he got life in prison without the chance of parole. But he didn't want to stay in there, so he decided to take himself out. Now his brother Tremaine was supposed to be killed yesterday, and due to this fake document that was submitted, that I'm going to show you, because I come with receipts, you will see that his execution was commuted. Okay? Now, here's the trick part here, too. The family was claiming that Tremaine had crappy representation, and it was proven that his lawyer was on cocaine, had an alcohol issue, was doing other drugs while he was doing this trial, right? So yeah, I would say he got a crappy representation too, anyways. So I guess that may be one of the reasons why his sentence was commuted. But over a fake document? I mean, that just trips me out right there. Okay, but anyways, so this man gets to live. He had crappy representation from a lawyer who was essentially a drug addict. And yeah, but he was involved with the murder. So do you think he should still be put to death? Should he lose his life because somebody else lost their life in a robbery? Now, also keep in mind, this was the second robbery that these brothers had committed in that same day. Somebody just happened to die this time. So it's kind of hard for me to feel bad for anybody that does shit like that. You know what I mean? And then expect to have some leniency because they got caught. Because I wonder if they would keep doing it if they weren't caught. You know what I'm saying? They did it twice in one day. Something tells me they wasn't going to stop. So you got all these people out there fighting for their life, talking about the death penalty is too harsh and this, that, and the third. In some people's eyes, it may be. But those two crimes they committed, how many others did they commit before? Did they kill somebody else in the past that they weren't caught for, but happened to be caught this time? I don't know. I'm just saying. Something to think about. You know what I'm saying? Now, I think the death penalty should be in place, but for certain people doing certain things. Like those that like to molest children and those that like to rape women. Okay? Them the ones I think that deserve the death penalty. I'm just saying. Anywho, check out the video.
Well, in less than 24 hours, a man could be executed for a crime his brother confessed to.
The Pardon and Parole Board recommended clemency for Tremaine Wood earlier this month. He's been on death row for over 20 years. His family and the victim's family in his case have been pleading for the governor to step in and save his life.
News 4's Dylan Brown talked with them today and has new documents in Woods' case that actually could be fake, right, Dylan?
Yeah, it could be. Kevin, Heather, this right here, this is it. It's a paper reading Stay Woods Execution. It's actually signed by someone who ends up calling himself a Supreme Justice for the U.S. Native American Supreme Court. This isn't a real order, though. Somehow, though, Oklahoma County Clerk had it filed on Wood's case less than 24 hours before his execution. The governor or U.S. Supreme Court justices, they're the only ones, though, who can stop it.
In your hand, I just want the governor to know that there were over 9,000 letters that have been sent across the world to him.
Thousands of letters, thousands of signatures asking Governor Stitt to grant clemency for Tremaine Wood. Wood convicted in the killing of Ronnie Whiff at a Metro hotel New Year's Day 2002. The Pardon and Parole Board recommending clemency, due in large part to what Wood says was a failure from his state-appointed attorney, who abused alcohol and cocaine during his trial and who didn't present evidence or give jury instructions.
One thing we really are pointing out is that in this case, the victim's family do not support this execution.
The ACLU and others handing those letters over to the governor. Besides the Supreme Court, Stitt is really the only one that can stop Wood's execution.
In this moment, Tremaine is with his family at the prison.
If the governor does not grant him clemency, yes, this will be the last time that we see him.
Tremaine's mother and nieces getting to hug him Wednesday.
It feels devastating. Very sad. My heart is broken.
By the afternoon, what seemed like a bit of hope, an order and mandate filed officially for a stay of execution for Wood, signed by a Keith Wesley Edwards, calling himself the Supreme Justice at the U.S. Native American Supreme Court. News 4 digging into it, turns out it wasn't real. The Attorney General's office stating this filing has no legal effect on the case and presents no impediment to the ongoing legal process. His office this month arguing Woods is a criminal still.
To this day, the only consistent activity that Tremaine engages in is crip and avoiding responsibility.
He's my son, and I love him more than the governor, the AG, or anyone else in this world could ever know.
But time is ticking for Woods. Julius Jones, 2021, Governor Stitt announced clemency just moments before he was set to be executed that day.
And just like Kevin Stitt, he's a dad, he's a father, he's an uncle, he's everything that man is. He just made a mistake.
And Wood's legal team is asking people to call the governor's office to demand clemency. There's a prayer vigil actually being held in about an hour, and tomorrow at 10 in the morning, that's when Wood is still scheduled for execution.
KOCO's Elise Jones is at the state penitentiary there in McAllister, where this news was just breaking. Elise, you were there. You saw the reaction from the family. What's the latest there from the state penitentiary?
Cameron, they're still out here celebrating. There's been tears, hugs, really an emotional hour this last hour for the family and supporters of Tremaine Wood. Now, the Department of Corrections tells me that Wood was not brought back into the execution chamber despite the governor's decision coming at the very final minute. Now, the last time that Governor Kevin Stitt granted clemency was in 2021 for Julius Jones. There have been other people put to death while the governor has been in office, despite the Pardon and Parole Board recommending their lives be spared. Now, this was the scene of celebration outside the state penitentiary. Family and friends celebrating after Governor Kevin Stitt chose to spare the life of Wood. They also say, though, that they're thinking of the victim, Ronnie Whiff's family, through this today.
The victim's family also advocated that they did not want this to happen. I am a victim's family member, and I also oppose the death penalty, but I'm so grateful to them that even in their grief and in their loss, that they were still able to ask for humanity. And so we hold them especially today as well.
Now, right at 10 a.m. when Governor Kevin Stitt made this announcement, he put out this statement saying his decision to side with the Pardon and Parole Board reflects the same punishment that Tremaine's brother was given. He says he will continue to hold accountable people who commit violent crimes in Oklahoma. The governor also mentioned the victim's family, saying he prays for them and for the surviving victim, Arnie, saying that they are models of Christian forgiveness and love. Now, we also heard from Attorney General Gentner Drummond, who was urging the governor to make the decision to not spare Wood's life. He says he's disappointed in the governor's decision today. Tremaine Wood will now serve life without the possibility of parole. Reporting.
Now that we all know he will not be put to death, how does that make you feel? I know it doesn't have anything to do with you personally, but overall, as a citizen of this country, where a state has capital punishment, right? Where they can just put you to death because of something that you did. How does that make you feel? Now, granted, This man and his brother had committed two other robberies, or one other robbery in the same day, which made it their second one, but only someone ended up losing their life in this one. But he gets to be commuted over what I saw was a fake document. What is really going on in our system here? Anyways, I had to bring this story to your attention. I thought it was fascinating and definitely enlightened me on some things that are happening that I had no idea could even happen. So, couldn't keep that to myself. I had to bring the receipts too, you know what I'm saying? But you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to spend some time with me, and for that, I will always be grateful. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of the Goodrich Chronicles. I am your host, Anthony Goodrich, and I am signing off.